guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video. In today's video I'm going to talk about all the books that I read in the month of August. I actually had a pretty good reading month. I got through 7 books throughout August, so I'm very happy with that. I'm definitely out of my reading slump that I was kind of in throughout June and July. I had 4 romance, 1 fantasy, and 1 mystery thriller. Let's go ahead and get into the books. Alrighty, so we started off the month with a reading vlog, and the first book that I read was Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. If you guys have been watching my channel, you've heard me talk about her a lot. I read Part of Your World by her, did not like that book, and then I also read Yours Truly recently, which I really enjoyed that book. I decided to give her new release a try. I had heard so many good things about it, and I just wanted to see if she is an author that I really do like, because I liked one of her books and didn't like one of her books. This book was kind of a test to see what I actually thought about her writing. This tells a story of a girl. Her name is Emma, and she is a travel nurse. Her and her friend Maddie are introduced in the story. We also have Justin, who is the male main character. The story starts off with Justin posting something on Reddit, basically saying like, am I the problem? Do I have a curse on me? Because every time he breaks up with a girlfriend, they end up going off and finding their love of their life. And so he's like, am I the problem? Emma sees this and she's able to relate to him, and she messages him, basically says like, hey, I have the same issue, maybe we should date and try to cancel it out. So they are states away and they decide to meet up. They think if they date and then break up that they will both find their true loves. Definitely an interesting concept. I've never seen anything like this before. Very much a summary read. I have a lot of notes on this. If you guys watched the vlog that I read this in, I talked a lot about this book and my opinion of it, and unfortunately I did not like this book for a lot of different reasons. The story talks a lot about mental health, and Emma brings up a lot of issues that she struggles with. Emma struggles a lot with her relationship with her mom. That is brought up so much throughout this book. Felt like the main character slash author was just trying to connect every single thing to her mental health and put a label on everything. But within the first 2 interactions that Justin and Emma had, it was like complete trauma dump from Emma. I completely understand, like, mental health is huge. I love when we see like why a character is the way that they are. It felt like it was quite literally every conversation that they were having was based on why she is this way and why she's treating him this way, and it was getting so frustrating. One thing I did love about this is there was a ton of humor and just a lot of like fun little jokes, and I found myself laughing a lot, so I loved that. Also, this is interconnected with Yours Truly and Part of Your World, so we did get to see a lot of those characters from those 2 books, which I loved as well. One of the main issues with this book is the writing. She tries to have emotional depth. It's just not given at all. I feel like her writing is very much straightforward. She has dialogue with no like inner monologue after. Like, usually when we hear what a character has to say, there's some type of inner monologue that is not like dialogue, but we are seeing why this character feels this way, if that makes sense. And with her, it was just like a flat statement and then the reply and then reply and reply. It was like there was no depth at all, I guess. The writing is just not metaphorical by her, and I love metaphorical writing. Abby Jimenez just does not have that. My favorite character throughout this book was Maddie, which was a side character. It was Emma's best friend. I really enjoyed her as a character. I loved all of her scenes. Overall, I was not really a fan of this. I gave this 2.5 stars. I don't know, I don't think that I will read another one of her books unless, again, it's something that's super hyped up and I like want to know what all the lore is about. I know a lot of people love this book. Unfortunately, I did not feel the same way. I'm more of a Jessa Hastings type of writing, and this just does not give any emotional depth. She tried so hard to do that, and the execution was just not there. That is just my opinion. If you have a different opinion, that's what reading is about, so don't get mad at me. Alrighty, and then I listened to King of Wrath on an audiobook. This tells the story of Dante and Vivian. Vivian has been single for a very long time, and then Dante is very, very high up. His family is super well known. The story contains a lot of like old money and like billionaires. So Vivian's family ends up setting up Vivian with Dante, and it's kind of like a forced marriage. The 2 main characters are not happy that they are put into this situation together. Dante basically does it because of another situation that is happening with his brother. It's very much forced. They are not happy. This is like a true enemies to lovers because there is money involved. Again, it's mafia. Obviously, as time goes on, they start to get to know each other more and spend more time together, and overall I loved this book so much. I was not expecting to like this as much as I did. I've had this on my shelf for honestly like 2 years, and for some reason I always thought that this was a fantasy. Like, you would think by the title and just the way the cover looks that it's a fantasy, but it's a romance, and I really enjoyed it. I love the audiobook. I love that we had a voice character for Dante and also a voice character for Vivian, so you could really tell like the difference between the characters when you were listening, which I loved. This was very much a touch her and you'll die type of story, which I've never read before, and I loved it. It was very spicy. I would love to continue the series, but because it is so spicy, I don't know if I will. I mean, I could always just skip over it, so I might do that, but I really would like to continue it because I did love this so much. Yeah, there are 4 books in this series. This is the King of Sins series. Also see a lot of Vivian's family issues, which I really enjoyed. I just felt like I saw myself in a lot of Vivian's character, so yes, overall this was a 4.5 stars. Next up, I got into Hopeless by Elsie Silver. This is the last book in the Chestnut Spring series. This tells the story of Beau and Bailey. Beau is one of the Eaton brothers. He is the only one that we have not seen anything from. He's very much secretive. He was in the military, so as you can probably assume, he has a lot of trauma, quiet and just very reserved. Bailey is very much known in the town, hated by a lot of people because her family just does not have a good reputation at all. They have known each other because they've lived in the same town. So there is a very big age gap. So Bailey works in the town bar. Beau is home from being in the military and he spends a lot of time at the bar. They obviously kind of spend a lot of time together. This is a fake engagement trope. Bailey is really struggling to find a job. I think that's what it is. I honestly don't remember. I think she's really struggling to find a job, and Beau just wants to get people like off his back because people keep asking him if he's okay, just because he is so quiet. They end up arranging this fake engagement to make it seem like he's doing okay, and then she also will have a better reputation because the Eaton brothers have such a high reputation in this town. And then she ends up moving into her like trailer. She moves it right next door to Beau's house, so it's like a forced proximity, fake engagement. They start to spend more time together, blah blah blah. You guys know what goes on from there. I don't know how I feel about this. It was good, but it wasn't anything like super crazy special. This was very sexually driven, a lot of spice scenes. I did not really enjoy that part to it. I've just been trying to read a lot less spice. I really did want to finish up the series, which is why I continued to read it and like finally finished it. I do love that Beau was very protective over Bailey because obviously there is this huge age gap, and the Eaton brothers have always just been protective throughout the whole series. I did really like that part to it. Just the romance in general was really good. We do start to see why Beau is the way that he is and all that he's been throughout the military and all of that, so that was really interesting to finally get more of his story. And then at the end we also did see Ford, which is the character in her new series, and the book is Wild Love. The new one just came out, Wild Eyes, I think. I just thought that was really cool that we did see her new character. I'm excited to get into that. I just like, I don't know, her books just have so much spice that I don't even know if I want to continue to read them, which I can always skip over. It just like, I would rather not have that at all. Anyways, I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I'm so happy that I finally finished the series, and yeah, it was a great little wrap up. We got to see a lot of the other characters from the other books, so I loved that. Alrighty guys, and then I read a book that I actually do not have the physical copy of because I lent it to a friend. I reread Magnolia Park's book 1, and I loved finally getting back into the series again. Just talking about this series gives me chills. I love it so much. That series will forever hold a special place in my heart. I loved getting to be back with the characters again. I actually listened to this on an audiobook, so I didn't actually read like the physical copy of it. It was definitely interesting to go back after I already know like what the series entails, just like picking up on little things that end up becoming bigger as the series continues was just really fun, and I am so excited to continue. I'm probably just gonna read it a little bit like throughout the rest of the year. I'm not trying to get through it quickly or anything, but I'm so happy that I finally read it. And when I originally read this book, I rated it 3.5 stars, I think, maybe 3 stars, and this time I rated it 4 stars. It's not a 5-star for me, but I love the characters so much, and I'm so happy that I got to reread it. Up next, I finally got into Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I had read Powerful, which is the novella, and then I finally got into Reckless. Powerless I rated 4 stars. Powerful, the novella, I rated 5 stars. I loved that book so much. I had heard not the best reviews, honestly, which made me a little bit skeptical to get into it, but I tried not to actually like listen to what people were saying. I just knew people did not love it as much as the first one. This is just continuing the story of Peyton and Kai, pretty much picking up exactly where the first book left off. Overall, I love Lauren Roberts' writing. She has such poetic, really good writing. So many good quotes. I also loved the banter between the two characters. It was very much like lots of laughing and jokes, sarcasm, which I'm a big sarcasm girl. I love sarcasm, so I loved seeing that. I will say this book was a little bit slower. I honestly feel like there was not much to it. I don't know, it just did not give as much as the first book, I thought. I was very happy to be with the characters again. It did take me a while to get through this, I'm not gonna lie. It kind of put me into a little bit of a slump, but overall I did enjoy it, and I'm excited for the third book to come out. This was a 4 out of 5 stars for me. And then I read None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. You guys, I've had this on my shelf for so long, and I'm so happy that I finally read it. This is a mystery thriller book. This tells a story of Alex and Josie. They are both out at a bar for their birthday, celebrating their birthday, and they realize that they are birthday twins. Josie goes up to Alex, and she knows that she has a podcast, and she's like, hey, I have this big life change coming up. I would love to be on your podcast to talk about this life change. She doesn't tell her what is gonna happen. Alex agrees, and she starts to have her on her podcast. Basically throughout the story we're getting lots of different timelines. I think, yeah, it's going back and forth. You guys, I literally finished this not that long ago, and I'm already like struggling to remember what happened, which just tells you how I felt about the book. But I don't want to give too much away because obviously it's a mystery thriller, but that's the basic premise of it. We're seeing past and present. It also has the podcast element to it, so I think it is a really good book to listen to on audiobook. I feel like this was very anticlimactic. Honestly, I was expecting a way bigger, I was expecting like this big twist at the end, but I just felt like the end was a little bit predictable. The ending was not like a clear-cut ending either. It basically left us to kind of figure out for ourselves what happened and what went on. Very much Verity feeling if you have read that book by Colleen Hoover. This was a 2.5 star. Really didn't give much. The last book that I read throughout August was Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan. I still don't know how to say that last name. I am so happy that I read this, you guys. This is the first book that I've ever read by this author, and I just had heard so many good things about her. August is kind of like end of summer, and I just wanted to finish off August reading a final summer romance. Annabelle Monaghan has characters that are a little bit older, and I actually haven't read many books with like an older female main character. We have Allie, and she is a mom. She is a mom of 3 kids, and she is recently getting a divorce with her husband that she was with for quite a long time. The divorce is not finalized. She is still living in the house with the kids, and he is off living in an apartment. They're still sharing like their finances and stuff, so it's very much not a complete divorce. She's just ready for like a fresh new start. She ends up meeting this man at the dog park, and he asks her out on a date. It's her first time kind of going out on a date as being a single mom, recently divorced. This story had so many good plot points. Like I said, I've never read anything with like the older mom aspect and having kids in it. I truly loved like everything about this book. Honestly, there is not one part of it that I did not like. Allie was such a good mom to all of her kids. Like that is her main focus, is being a good mom to her kids. The relationship that she had with her kids was so beyond healthy. Her and her kids have open communication, and like one of her daughters was really struggling with something, and when they finally like opened up and talked about it, it was just done so perfectly. It just made me so jealous. Like I wish that I could talk to my parents about stuff like that. Also, the male main character was perfect. There was no miscommunication, which I loved. When they did have struggles, it was talked out perfectly. Just everything about her writing was so good. I loved this book so much. It was 5 stars. Also, just in general, like the boundaries that she set between her life with her kids and also like her new relationship, so healthy, and just it was just so good. I was very happy to finally find a 5-star book. I love this book. I highly recommend. I cannot wait to get into more of her books. Right after I finished this book, I wanted to go back and reread and annotate it, so I'm definitely gonna do that at some point. Those are all of the books that I read throughout the month of August. Some disappointments, but some good reads as well. If you guys had any disappointments or really good reads throughout the month of August, you should comment them down below. I think that is everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.